local government areas, securing a second term after his 2022 election. Makinde, in a statement today by his special advisor on media, Dr. Sulaiman Olaniwaju, said Adeleke's victory was a reward for his commitment to serving the people, achievements and delivery of good governance. The Oyo State Governor and Vice Chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum equally lauded the people of Osun State for showing politicians where the power lies by voting with resolution and courage despite the violence and sheer display of federal might. He urged Adeleke to see his re-election as an encouragement to deliver more development to the state. He commended the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, over the smoothness of the exercise, stating that the off-cycle election is a litmus test for the 2027 general election and that the commission must not let Nigerians down. Makinde said the Osun governorship election was a litmus test for the 2027 general election, urging INEC to maintain the confidence of Nigerians and not let them down. The outcome of the Osun State governorship election has continued to spark reactions from various quarters, with the victory of the incumbent governor, Ademola Adeleke. Governor Ademola Adeleke, who contested under the accord, was declared winner of the election after polling 511,067 votes to defeat his closest challenger, Bola Oyebamiji of the All Progressives Congress, who scored 444,815 votes. Reacting to the outcome, some residents of Ibadan who spoke with BCOS reporter Adiola Oladele expressed excitement over Adeleke's return, describing the result as a reflection of the will of the people. While appreciating the efforts of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and security agencies in ensuring the conduct of the election, others particularly called for improved security measures to prevent a recurrence of violence witnessed before the election. They urged them to build on the gains recorded and strengthen preparations for future elections. They speak further.
This is one election, so we can't really judge. It's just one state, not that we have the whole states. So I'm hoping that INEC will take some of the pieces, some of the fallout, and hopefully 2027 election, general election, presidential, governorships, and general election, they will prepare well and ensure that the election will be free. I repeat, free, fair, and credible, so nobody will come out and nag and complain.
It's a good omen for the 2027 election. In fact, people really troop out en masse to vote for the candidate of their choice, and the wish of people really can't. We really appreciate the INEC and all the security agencies that participated in that election. So it's good and better for us as a nation.
That shows what people deserve. That's what they want. They want Adeleke back, and they've gotten it. It shows that the incumbent president is not at any time trying to enforce his will on them.
Yeah, first of all, let me congratulate Adeleke for winning the election. But there was too much threat, and it must not be allowed in any election to go on further like that. It's a viral thing. If they allow it to happen, there will be problem. It will be challenged in court. The two parties, there was incumbency inducement, there was this federal might about the election. It must be challenged in court.
With the outcome of the election of Osun State, it shows that if there is proper security personnel on ground, I think people are ready to go out and vote.
We shall now take a short commercial break. Please stay tuned.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care with 5 oils and 5 vitamins. 48-hour nourishment. Helps reduce appearance of stretch marks in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care for your shade of beautiful.
Welcome back. Nigeria is stepping up efforts to reduce its dependence on imported military hardware as the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, DICON D7G, advances plans to locally produce armored vehicles, anti-drone platforms, and other specialized defense equipment. The development was disclosed by the Chief Executive Officer of DICON D7G, Mr. Osman Cherna, following a two-day inspection tour of military production facilities in Cairo by the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawali, and his delegation. China said the partnership with Eagles International for Defense Systems would facilitate technology transfer, expand Nigeria's indigenous defense manufacturing capacity, and create thousands of direct and indirect jobs. It said the initial phase will create employment for more than 200 workers and provide opportunities for about 100 retired military personnel, while production will cover various armored vehicles, mortar launchers, medical evacuation, vehicles, and anti-drone platforms. The company also plans to develop a dedicated military jetty in Lagos to support the movement of military equipment and raw materials, with the initiative expected to reduce foreign supply risks, strengthen national security, and position Nigeria to export defense equipment to other African countries. NDLEA operatives have arrested a 48-year-old businessman, Nwako Innocent Oyeboche, at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos, with 1,550 kilograms of cocaine concealed in his bag while headed to India. The agency also recovered 3,776 cartons containing bottles of cocaine-based syrup, valued at over 2.6 billion naira, from a warehouse in Lagos, while 324 kilograms of Colorado cannabis was seized from a suspected drug kingpin in Ipaja, in Kwara and Oyo states. NDLEA operatives arrested 4 suspects and recovered 55.96 kg of skunk, 52,000 capsules of pentazone and 6,000 ampoules of tramadol from 2 vehicles. The agency also seized large consignments of tramadol, refinol, diazepam, codeine, cocaine, methamphetamine, and cannabis in Kano, Plateau, Edo, and other states, while over 4.6 kilograms of skunk was destroyed on 2 cannabis farms in Edo State. NDLEA Chairman, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, commended operatives across the country for the arrests and seizures, urging them to maintain a balance between drug supply reduction and demand reduction efforts. The rising rate of drug addiction in Nigeria is causing heightened concern, with statistics revealing that around 14.4% of Nigerians are now participating in drug use, and a growing proportion of these individuals are women. Professionals alert that the consequences of drug addiction in women extend beyond personal impact, presenting grave risks to the health of mothers and the developmental progress of their children. Against this backdrop, our reporter Adiola Odadili analyzes the impact of drug addiction on public health.
Drug addiction continues to be a pervasive global health issue and social concern, impacting individuals across various age groups, genders, social strata, and communities. According to reports, cannabis remains the most prevalent substance used, while opioid misuse, particularly tramadol and codeine-based syrups, continues to escalate, with a notable increase in female involvement in drug use compared to previous years. In a chat with BCOS News, Dr. Victor Makanjola, a consultant psychiatrist at the University College Hospital, Ibadan, highlighted the severe repercussions of drug addiction among women, particularly during pregnancy, where substance use can impact both the mother and the unborn child.
When a teenager is feeling low and unhappy most of the times, usually teenagers talk to teenagers. If they say that to a friend, they say, "Oh, you're feeling low, why don't you try alcohol? It will make you feel better." why don't you try marijuana? It will make you feel better. So they tend to now use this as a way to feel better, which in the short term actually works, that they feel better. But if you continue to use, then they will develop drug addiction.
Dr. Makanjola stressed that to understand addiction, one must look beyond the substance itself and examine the factors that contribute to individual vulnerability. In the view of a drug addiction rehabilitation expert, Pastor Tunji Agbola, addiction often develops gradually, beginning with substance abuse before progressing into dependence.
Everybody is lacking the focus on appropriate development of our young people. And even where it all begins, the home. Families don't have the time to pay attention to their young people and so on and so forth like that. Young people, by chemistry, by biology, they look for thrills. They look for risky things. Because they are young, they are not experienced. There's a part of their brain called the amygdala that drives all this risk-taking, adventurism, and so on and so forth. In the olden days, in time past, there is a clear distinction between boys and girls in the way they do things. However, you have a lot more young women getting into this. And some of them are even influencing their boyfriends or their friends who are male into the use of drugs.
Both experts agree that despite the growing extent of drug addiction, access to treatment and rehabilitation services remains limited, with only a small proportion of individuals in need receiving proper care and assistance.
Using substances, either just in a harmful manner or in a regular, repeated manner that results in addiction, has a lot of mental health consequences. And that is one of the reasons why one should advocate for prevention. Because once those mental health consequences are established, treatment will be necessary, and it's not always guaranteed that full recovery will take place. Yes, many people recover fully, but there will be a few that may develop lifelong mental health challenges from this substance use.
There's a higher rate of success than for relapse to happen if the rehab program is well done, particularly when you allow the individual to own the treatment. But then the individual need to see that, look, this is our life, and try to want to get better of it. However, relapse is a real thing.
The respondents agree that while treatment and rehabilitation are available, complete recovery cannot always be guaranteed, stressing that prevention and abstinence remain the most effective ways of tackling drug addiction. Adiola Oladele, BCOS News.
The high cost and perceived low efficacy of drugs have led many citizens to seek alternative medical solutions. These alternatives, however, may not be potent enough to combat serious medical conditions and could even cause long-term harm. Our reporter, Miriam Moreno Akinola, investigates the reasons for the rising costs of pharmaceuticals and examines the public's perception of drug inefficacy.
For the average Nigerian, the rising cost of living makes daily survival a struggle. This struggle now becomes compounded by the soaring prices of essential medicines. The cost of common over-the-counter drugs, including paracetamol and other household staples, has increased significantly. Beyond the high prices, many citizens now express a growing fear over the effectiveness of drugs available today.
It's not more effective, like the one we used before. It's very effective. Once you take a tablet, it will react in your body. But for now, any drug you take, even for me, if I want to take paracetamol before, I only take 2 doses. Now I take 3. Yet it won't even react or work.
Yes, the price compared to the prices of pills, maybe in the last 4 or 5 years to this present year now, I don't think they are as effective like before.
This perceived ineffectiveness has led many to turn to herbal remedies, seek treatments through injections, or in some cases, forgo treatment altogether. While the general perception is that many drugs have reduced in efficacy, some people maintain confidence in their effectiveness. Speaking to BCOS News, pharmacist Oyekunle Amuson stated that the increasing cost of drugs is primarily due to the foreign exchange rate, as over 50% of drugs sold in Nigeria are imported. He also explained that the underlying causes of perceived low efficacy can often be tied to purchasing drugs from unauthorized sources or improper usage.
Because of cost, you now have various companies trying to see how they can present medications at reduced rates so that they can have a fair share of the market. Now, when you look at all these medications, the efficacy of one drug, though they may be bioequivalent, that is, they contain the same active ingredients, but at the same time, they do not essentially will relieve those symptoms at the same rate and in the same manner. So this is the perception that patients feel, and that is why most of the time they insist that they want a particular brand. The caveat that I just want us all to know is that you have to make sure you procure your drugs from registered pharmacies.
Pharmacist Abiodun Ajibade challenged the perception of drug ineffectiveness. He also offered recommendations for the government to curb rising prices and advise citizens on how to manage costs.
The public to embrace health insurance. Our state government has also done very well. There's Russia, there's our state health insurance agency. It's already in place, and what they are doing in that place is very good. But how many people are subscribing to it? So if people are subscribed to health insurance that is already in place, like our state, for example, people will not complain much on the cost of treatment. And number two, we also encourage government to also do more by ensuring that they also join those states that are already doing very well when it comes to drug supply in the hospitals by establishing the drug management agency in other states.
Both pharmacists warned against using herbal remedies as a direct substitute for orthodox medicines. They advised that such remedies should instead be used to complement conventional treatments to avoid worsening medical conditions, and only after consulting a professional. They stressed that while herbal solutions may not be sidelined, many are not verified by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, and could pose significant health risk. Mariam Moreno Akinola, BCOS News.
The wife of the Bauchi State Governor, Aisha Mohammed, has unveiled an empowerment package worth over 80 million naira to support women across the state as part of efforts to improve their livelihoods. The First Lady also distributed bags of cassava to women, saying the intervention will help strengthen their businesses, improve household income, and promote economic self-reliance. This was disclosed in a statement by the press secretary to the First Lady, Zainab Garba, who said the initiative reflected Aisha Mohammed's commitment to women's welfare, dignity, and economic independence. The statement also disclosed that the APM governorship candidate, Yakubu Adamu, donated 5 million naira to women from the 20 local government areas of the state to support transportation and facilitate their return to their communities. Garba said the interventions underscored the importance of supporting women as key contributors to families, communities, and the overall development of Bauchi State. With the rising cost of living putting pressure on household incomes, Nigerians are increasingly having to prioritize their spending, with basic needs such as food, transportation, and accommodation taking a larger share of their earnings. For many, leisure activities such as outings, movies, parties, and vacations are now being reconsidered, with some cutting back, while others continue to make room for relaxation despite the economic challenges. In this report, Oyeshile Oloyede examines how the rising cost of living is affecting Nigerians' spending on leisure and social activities.
Leisure activities provide an opportunity for people to relax, socialize, and take a break from their daily routines. However, with the increasing cost of essential goods and services, many Nigerians say they now have less disposable income to spend on entertainment and recreational activities. For some, outings, movies, parties, and vacations have become less frequent as available funds are directed towards more pressing needs. Residents who spoke with BCOS News shared different experiences, with some saying they have had to reduce the frequency of their outings and other leisure activities because of the current economic situation.
Even most times, your salary would not be enough to say you want to do this and do that and go out. So it's just like you managing what you have at the moment.
There is no pleasure again in this present situation we are now, because when you are talking about pleasure, the economy is not even friendly with you.
I don't go for outing, like before. After Sunday, we branch at restaurants, we take our lunch for going home.
Others, however, believe leisure remains important despite the financial challenges, noting that people still need to relax and socialize, even if it means choosing cheaper alternatives.
Having fun is fun. There's really no difference in how I go out before and how I go out now. I plan towards it and I work towards it. Just like fix some amount of money that, okay, this is what I want to spend when I go.
I still go to the cinemas anytime I want to. I wish to see a movie in the cinema. I still go out anytime I wish to.
I do have a budget for leisure activities. At least 5% of my income still go for leisure activities such as movies, parties, dates, and all of that.
As the cost of living continues to influence household spending, many Nigerians are finding new ways to balance their basic needs with the desire to relax and maintain an active social life. While some have reduced their spending on leisure, others are opting for more affordable forms of entertainment. For now, the question of whether Nigerians still have money for leisure appears to depend largely on what remains after their essential needs have been met. Oyeshile Oloyede, BCOS News.
The foundation of marriage consists of love, trust, and mutual responsibility. Nonetheless, the prevailing economic conditions characterized by escalating inflation, joblessness, and a rising cost of living have put numerous families under considerable financial stress, thereby increasing the challenges faced by couples in fulfilling their everyday requirements. Experts exhort that financial hardship is a significant cause of discord in many families, often affecting interpersonal communication, emotional well-being, and household stability. In this report, Oyeshile Oloyede examines how the present economic situation is affecting marriages and the practical steps couples could take to build stronger and more resilient relationships.
The enduring economic challenges continue to exert pressure on many households as families find it increasingly difficult to afford the rising cost of fundamental needs such as food, transportation, housing, healthcare, education, and other essential requirements. The burden of financial management has turned into a considerable cause of conflict for many couples. The ongoing economic climate has compelled many households to reassess their spending habits, prioritize fundamental needs, and implement stringent financial measures to adapt to the increasing cost of living. According to Dr. Iyola Mukaila, a guidance and counseling expert, said the ongoing economic situation has amplified financial pressures on many families, leading to conflict and emotional strain within some marriages.
With the economic condition in which we find ourselves in Nigeria today, to say the truth, many families have collapsed as a result, because when what we need resources to keep up the family, to buy food, what to eat, what to drink, what to wear, and the head of the family, especially the father, is not financially capable enough. That will be resulting into broad altercation, misunderstanding from time to to time. So, to be candid, it has a great effect, fast effect to see, on the success of marriages and family at large.
He counseled couples to uphold transparent communication, devise sensible family financial plans, emotional support one another, and pursue professional therapy when disagreements become too difficult to handle.
So when income is not growing and the expenditure is growing, no what happens? There is a bit of a problem, it's an economic problem. So one, sometimes it promotes promiscuity, infidelity, because if that woman is not God-fearing, you now begin to have you call it side chick or whatever, I don't know. You're going to have a Samaritan affair with other men because they know that this man cannot. Also, the man will lose his respect. The wife will not respect him again, even the children will not respect him again. Right? So, also, there will not be peace in that house.
Also speaking, a legal practitioner and marriage counselor, Eniayo Akintujoye, noted that while economic hardship had led to an increase in marital disputes, many conflicts can be resolved through dialogue, mediation, and proper legal guidance before they escalate into litigation. He urged couples to be transparent about their finances, make joint financial decisions, and support each other emotionally.
When you have a marriage where there is openness and accountability, when there is no money, it's nobody's fault. Now, if there is openness, you know how much I earn, I know how much you earn. Any extra money that comes in, we put it on the table, and then we both discuss and agree together on how we should spend it. Where that is the case, where that is the culture of a couple, if what we have and we have earned, if it finishes, there's no reason why we should be fighting each other. So it's either we put our energy into more marketing so that more money can come in, or if we are religious people, we go and pray to God to provide for our needs. So instead of fighting each other, we fight the situation, which is lack. We put our anger against lack rather than each other, because it's nobody's fault. Now, but I know that there are many, many marriages where there is no openness and accountability. And that gives room for a lot of assumptions. There are many marriages where the couples don't even know what their spouses earn. So if your partner does not know how much you earn, if there is no money, they may have a reason to feel that it's because you are wasteful.
Professionals opine financial struggles may strain relationships. Maintaining healthy marriages require mutual understanding, patience, financial prudence, and effective communication. They stress that by working together, strategically planning, and receiving timely professional guidance, couples can effectively manage economic pressures and develop stronger family units despite the current economic climate. Oyeshile Oloyede, BCOS News.
Fashion trends are often described as cyclical, with styles once considered outdated making a comeback in new and modern forms. From ashokwe trousers and jackets to bell-bottom and palazzo trousers, several vintage-inspired styles are finding their way back into the wardrobes of today's generation. Our reporter Bimbola Ashawande takes a look at the revival of old fashion trends.
What was once regarded as old-fashioned is gradually becoming fashionable again, as young people embrace styles associated with previous generations while giving a contemporary touch. One notable example is Ashoke, which has moved beyond traditional ceremonies to become a versatile material for modern outfits, including cargo trousers, jackets, skirts, and bubu dresses. A fashion designer, Mrs. Abimbola Oyadiro, explains that fashion is cyclical, with old styles often returning in new forms. She says Ashoke, as an important part of Yoruba culture and heritage, has remained timeless, adding that its
transformation into contemporary designs has increased its appeal among young people and customers within and outside the country.
Ashoke is timeless, like I said earlier. If we change from baggy trousers, I'm sure something else will come up. Apart from jackets, apart from skirts, something else will come up again that everybody will love to wear the Nigerian culture and be proud of it.
Beyond Ashoke, other styles that once dominated the fashion scene are also making a comeback. These include bell-bottom and palazzo trousers, damask and other traditional Yoruba outfits.
Everybody wants to wear Ashoke cargo pants. Everybody wants to wear jackets like what I'm wearing. Everybody wants to wear the boo-boos, not the usual Iro and Buba or the danchiki and shokoto.
For a fashionista, Mrs. Kemi Koliowo, the return of old-fashioned trend is part of natural cycle of fashion.
It's an age-long practice. I don't think there is anything that is old that that hasn't been coming back into fashion. I remember when we were young, when I got married in 1977, I actually used coupon for my wedding. That was about 49 years ago, and it's called cord, and cord is back now. So it's the same thing with Ashoke. As at that time, I wore the cord on my damask Iro, and now people are back into damask again. So there is nothing, fashion goes, fashion comes.
She expresses excitement over the growing interest of young people in traditional outfits, describing the development as a positive step towards preserving Yoruba culture and identity.
You see people now wearing trousers made with Ashoke. You see them with jackets. I have jackets that are made with Ashoke. And anytime I wear it, people are always like, wow, this looks good on you. So there's nothing new under the sun. Old fashions are coming back in terms of dressing and whatever. It's all over the world.
Mrs. Koliowo notes that while fashion continues to evolve, young people can adapt old designs to suit contemporary lifestyle without losing their cultural significance. With growing interest in vintage-inspired designs, fashion enthusiasts say the revival goes beyond bringing back old clothes. It represents a creative blend of tradition, cultural identity, and modern style. As designers continue to reinterpret classic trends for today's generation, styles once considered forgotten may well have found a new place in contemporary fashion. Abimbola Ashawande, BCOS News.
Two distinguished members of the Ibadan Recreation Club 1902, Emeritus Professor of Theatre Arts and former General Manager of the National Theatre, Igomu Lagos, Femi Oshofison, and writer, author, and columnist Tunde Fagbenle have been honored with a stage play titled The Inspector and the Hero. The play, written by Professor Oshofison, was performed by students of the Department of the Theatre Arts, University of Ibadan.